there's going to be points in time where people just going to, not believe in you. People just going to, count you out, saying that you can't get it done, saying that you can't do certain things, that you're washed up, you can't get the job done, you're damaged goods. Whatever phrase you want to use, like, there's going to be times in your life where you have to prove certain people wrong. You have to go out there and just prove it in general, that you can get it done, that you are that guy, that I am him or I am her, or whatever you want to phrase it. You like Jay-Z said, allow me to reintroduce myself. Like, it's going to be points in time in life where you will have to do that. And when you do that, hopefully you come out on top and you're recognized for it and you're celebrated for it. And you are definitely rewarded for it. And in this case, Geno Smith, the guy who famously said they wrote me off, but I didn't write back. As you know, last year he had a career year. He took the Seahawks, a team that nobody thought would even be anywhere near the playoffs at all. He took them to the playoffs. The fact that he even made the playoffs, that's crazy within itself. Considering they traded away Russell Wilson, their franchise quarterback. Got a whole bunch of draft picks for him. Even included Drew Lock in the trade, who I guess was supposed to, well, at the minimum, had a shot at winning the starting job, but probably was favored to win the starting job over Geno Smith. And not only did, Geno took the challenge of beating Drew Lock, but he put the team on his back. He put the team on his back and carried them to the playoffs, to where we thought this team should finish in the bottom 5 and had a top 5 draft pick on their own. And the reason why I'm bringing all this up is because Geno Smith got paid yesterday. This man got the bag. That is a success story if I ever seen one. 3 years, $105 million contract, $52 million in the first year. Congratulations, Geno. From a pick that, if I'm not mistaken, first round pick with the Jets, didn't pan out there. Moved around, became a journeyman, backup roles here and there, but he figured it out. Some people just blossom late. It just takes, take us time to actually, for things to click. And then once it clicks, it's like, oh, man, this is a lot easier than I thought. How come I couldn't figure this out sooner? Sometimes you got to go through certain things to reach that point. And so for Geno, the 3-year, 105 contract, 52 in the first year. It's front loaded. It's a contract that makes sense. The man is 32 years old. You definitely don't want money tied up on the back end of a contract where, he's going to be 34, 35 and have a huge salary at that point. It doesn't make sense. And also, this also gives Seattle a chance to maybe look at a quarterback, and maybe in this year's draft or next year's draft, to where they can prep and build up into when Geno is done, they have a successor. So yeah, Geno definitely did his thing. I'm definitely happy for that man. Just the journey. The journey, man. It's just something about the journey. And I learned this in high school from my English teacher. And I didn't get it at first. But as I, live life more and more each day, She said, "Success is a journey, not a destination," and I am getting that. It's just something about the journey that's more fulfillment than actually getting somewhere. That's just me, but that's how I'm looking at stuff. But yeah, anyway, Geno definitely got the bag here. He started all 17 games last year. Touchdown turnover ratio was pretty darn good. Completion percentage was excellent. So yeah, today is a big day for the NFL in general as far as all season moves. Franchise tag deadline is today, meaning if you cannot get a contract resolved between your own free agents, you have an opportunity to franchise tag them. Meaning if you put the tag on them, then they are automatically paid within top 5 of their position, and they are stuck with your team for at least that year. Now, I think the most consecutive you can franchise tag is 2 in a row. Or I think actually you can do it more than that, but each time that you tag somebody consecutively, that number goes up tremendously. So you normally don't see that happen. So just know, like Tony Pollard, for instance, for the Dallas Cowboys, a running back that I wouldn't mind seeing in Chicago, but that's not happening. He was franchise tagged by the Dallas Cowboys, so they made sure that he's locked in. And crazy thing is, like, running backs, that's probably a position that you're probably going to see tagged a lot. Because just think about it. Running backs has the shortest life in the NFL. I mean, these guys that's getting tagged, they're already 3 or 4 years in. So, therefore, why sign them to a long-term deal when we can just throw a tag on them for a year, maybe in one more year after that, and then, just let them go. At that point, they're probably not the same player anymore. I mean, that sucks, but that's the reality of the situation. So with Tony Pollard franchise tag, I feel like the writing's on the wall for Ezekiel Elliott, the former Ohio State Buckeyes superstar who, his first 3 years in the league in the NFL has been sensational, but ultimately if you take a deeper look into Ezekiel Elliott's career, his numbers have went down consecutively since he first got in the league. It's like a linear line that's declining. He has not gotten better in any year. It has been downhill since. And with your own eye test for the last couple of years, maybe 2.5 years, you notice that Tony Pollard is probably the more explosive running back. And if last year didn't tell you anything, that basically told you that Tony Pollard is the better running back right now. Now, granted, the 1-2 punch is probably what made them very successful with the Dallas Cowboys this year, but still, Tony Pollard, to me, is definitely better of the two. And in my Destination Fantasy podcast, I have about 3 hashtags. One of them is called hashtag Free Tony Pollard, meaning get Ezekiel Elliott out the way, let Tony Pollard get about 20 carries a game, and you got yourself a fantasy football superstar. Because talent plus opportunity equals fantasy stud. He has the talent. He just needs a little bit more opportunity, and bam, there you go. So yeah, the Cowboys tagged him. I guess the other name that made some news yesterday and in a unique situation, Derek Carr. So free agency actually starts the 15th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. But in his unique situation, see, the way he was cut, it was after the Super Bowl and they had to do something to, otherwise his contract would have been guaranteed. So he fell into a small class to where he could sign immediately. So that's why his situation is so different than the rest. But nevertheless, he found his way to NOLA, New Orleans. He officially signed with the New Orleans Saints. If I'm not mistaken, is that a 4-year, $150 million contract? So the Saints has not have a person of consistency at that position since Drew Brees left. As we know, the Andy Dalton, also known as the Rusty Rifle to me, that experiment didn't work. Jameis Winston, even though I feel like he didn't have all the way fair chance at the position, but that experiment didn't work either. Taysom Hill's experience definitely didn't work at that position. So, therefore, Derek Carr, who, still around the league, a lot of people think he can still play. I'm one of those guys in the right situation. Derek Carr, we know this much. At his highs, when he's at his peak, he was an MVP caliber quarterback. He was. And, at his lows, he was, what my friend was calling him, booty cheeks, for lack of a better word, booty cheeks, this past year. Now, all that wasn't his fault. I blame a lot of that on Josh McDaniels, because I don't think Josh McDaniels is a great head coach. He's a great coordinator, but I think he's trash as a head coach. But that's a discussion for another day. But anyway, Derek Carr right now is the best quarterback in the NFC South. As we know, the other quarterbacks consist of, in Carolina, I think Sam Darnold for now. Who knows? Tampa Bay, that's still a question mark. I think that's Trask, whatever his name is. And then you got Atlanta with we was nicknaming him the Riddler. I can't even think of his name because he's a rookie and he didn't do too much last year anyway. So that lets you know that by default, Derek Carr is the best quarterback in the division at this moment. Now, I definitely, would imagine things are going to shake in that regard between now and the draft. So 2 months from now, we might be having a different story. But as of right now, the Saints have the best quarterback in the division. Therefore, at the moment, the Saints are probably the favorite to win the division at this moment on March 7th. So we'll see how things change in the next 7 weeks on that one. So New Orleans got their guy, before he was cut. They tried trading for him, but, Carr wanted to explore free agency. The Jets was, highly on that list as well to get the man. But I think the only thing holding them up was the activity of Aaron Rodgers and that whole saga. And, maybe, just maybe, we might have some news on Aaron Rodgers by the end of this week. But, nevertheless, Derek Carr is a Saint. I know a couple of Saints fans, they don't know. They don't know how to feel right now. It could be a lot better, but it could definitely be a lot worse. So, I guess we just leave it at that. Technically, Michael Thomas is still on the team. I don't know for how much longer. You still got Alvin Kamara. But we don't know how that's going to unfold because not this past Pro Bowl, but the year before, that whole incident with the guy and his entourage stumping somebody out. I'm pretty sure that's going to trial here and suspensions are coming and things of that nature. So, we'll see there. Chris Olave, that was a bright spot for them last year. The former rookie out of Ohio State. So, we'll see how it all unfolds in that regard. But like I said, the Saints are the favorite at the moment. A couple other things to note. Orlando Brown, the left tackle from the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. He's not franchise tagged, but a deal isn't done either. So that's going to be a highly coveted free agent left tackle right there. They also got rid of their pass rusher, Frank Clark. He's a cap casualty. Unfortunately, these things happen, and he's going to be highly coveted as well. I expect the Kansas City Chiefs to retool still, but those are two big names out there that's going to, have a lot of suitors. The Ravens and Lamar Jackson, they said those talks are going to go all the way to the franchise tag deadline today. We will see. Now, the one that I'm paying attention to the most, as a biased Bears fan here, bear down. This is Bears season. This is our time. We control free agency. I just want you all to remember that. But anyway, the one thing I am paying attention to is Daniel Jones and the New York Giants. The question is, why? Why are you paying attention to Daniel Jones. He's a quarterback. He is not better than Justin Fields in a lot of people's opinions. He has, yet to prove himself. Yeah, all those things are true, but the reason why I'm paying attention to Daniel Jones is, so those talks between him and the Giants are so far apart right now that if a deal isn't done by the franchise tag deadline, they would be forced to use their franchise tag on Daniel Jones. Now, if they do that, that means their other free agent named Saquon Barkley would not be able to be franchise tagged, and therefore I don't see a long-term deal getting done between those two, and he would test the free agent market. Saquon Barkley is probably my favorite running back in the league. And yeah, technically speaking, my Bears don't need another running back at the moment. It's not the immediate need. It's not like as high of a need on the list as a number one wide receiver or, some tackle help, left tackle and right tackle, center. Probably a number two wide receiver. Of course, pass rushers and, defensive linemen in general. Couple, linebacker or two in another corner. Those are, I think, a little bit higher on the list. But all I know is Saquon Barkley said he would love the opportunity to, throw on a Bears uniform. He was hearing Jared Payton, the son of Walter Payton. He was telling him this. And he also said that he wouldn't wear 26. His number would be in the 30s to honor Walter Payton. He actually said this on record. So, hey, if my favorite player can play for my favorite team, that is, a win, double win for me. I'm not losing there. I'm not. So, that's my personal look at that situation. Daniel Jones wants $45 million a year. Look, all I'm going to say is you are allowed to get paid what the market allows you to get paid. That's all I'm going to say. Apparently the Giants, I think in the high 30s on that one. So there's definitely some few million apart on that. So I'm hoping that deal does not get done. Because if that deal gets done, they're going to slap the franchise tag on Saquon Barkley, and then I'm going to be upset. But, such is life. Such is life. And then I think one other thing here. Calvin Ridley. Remember the guy that went on DraftKings and placed a bet on his team while he was still on the team? Yeah, that guy that got, suspended for a whole year. And I'm not going to go down that road. Well, more so, I'm not going to. It's different discussion for another day as far as how is his suspension a lot heavier than other stuff that's happened in the league. So, but anyway, he was officially reinstated. And people forget, at last year's trade deadline, he got moved to the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's no longer Atlanta Falcon. He's with the Jags. He's with Trevor Lawrence. He's with Doug Peterson. His other, complementary pieces are Christian Kirk and Zay Jones and Evan Ingram. Like, people forget the last time Calvin Ridley was actually active and on the field, he was considered a top 5 wide receiver in the league. He was playing at that level. Now, yeah, he hasn't played in over a year. And so, there's a rust, time scenario there. But boy, when he gets back into form, it's gonna get dangerous. Like, that team is probably, based on how things are going, probably going to be the favorite to win the the AFC South here for the next several years. Let's see. Tennessee Titans are having a fire sale right now. They already cut Bud Dupree. I think they cut a couple other people. They are reportedly shopping Derrick Henry, so King Henry is probably not going to be there much longer. It's basically a rebuild there. The Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts, they both have top 5 picks in this year's draft, so that should tell you everything you need to know. So, yeah, this is the Jacksonville Jaguars division to lose at this point. They went from worst to first, and I think they're going to keep that crown for a while. So, yeah, when you add Calvin Ridley back into the mix with a younger development quarterback and Trevor Lawrence, and you got Doug Peterson, who has been the complete opposite of Urban Meyer. And we done enough talking about Urban Meyer here, so we can leave that man alone. But anyway, Jags are that team. And you just adding Calvin Ridley to already a team that has impressed and found their way to the playoffs and actually made the playoff game a little interesting there. And I'm pretty sure that experience right there against the Kansas City Chiefs is going to give them more motivation, more confidence, more ability to be a better team next year. Book it now. They running that back and winning the AFC South again with a more impressive record this time too. So yeah, that's all she wrote for today. I just want to give you those little tidbits there, here and there about what's going on in the NFL. Slowly but surely we get into the NCAA tournament. And I promise you, it has been so busy for me. I haven't even finished my social media flyer yet. And it doesn't take long, but life happens. So I promise you Thursday I will have it done. Because after today, I think tomorrow I can actually have some time and think. Man. But such is life. But anyway, continue to rock with your boy right here on the No Offense Radio, No Offense Network. Check me out on social media at JGoodWithSports. We're talking about Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Continue to rock me right here also as well with the JGoodWithSports podcast, wherever you get your podcast from. Thursday, we'll get right more into it. I don't know what's on the agenda yet, but the sports world never disappoints. So we will figure it out. But until then, let's continue to get this money, continue to make, productive, positive decisions in life, continue to be, I guess, good Samaritans out here. But nevertheless, until next time, you all have a blessed one. Peace.